Is this high enough for me?
I don't know how you raise it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine. All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Commissioner Cynthia Elliott, and I'm your Mistress of Ceremonies for our Women's History Month. And I want to welcome you and welcome all of our students and our staff and our parents to this great event. Let me share with you some words from, by whom some say was the hardest working man in show business, the late, great James Brown. James stated that this is a man's world, but that it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. And of course, he wrote that back in the 60s. And I'd like to beg to differ. This is a woman's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a boy or a man. I've had some great men in my life, and I'm sure you've had some great men in your life. Your fathers, your uncles, your nephews, your brothers, friends who are males. And while this is, I don't want it to be a upmanship on, women versus men. And sometimes we sort of teasingly do that. But men have been a great source of our lives. If it wasn't for men, none of us would be around either. And so this evening, before we begin with our Women's History Month, I really would like for us to recognize the men who are in our lives as well. And those fathers, those brothers, those nephews and friends, would you just please stand so that we can also honor you this evening? All the men. Both sexes are equally important. And as we get started on our Women's History Month, let me just have the women to do a shout out in this room this evening. All the women, will you just do a shout out in recognition of Women's History Month? Great. Thank you. But before we begin, and as I said, we welcome you, but we're going to give our leader, the board's leader, President Malik Evans, an opportunity to welcome you as well. So President Evans, will you come, please?
Thank you, Commissioner Elliott. All I really want to say is welcome on behalf of the Board of Education. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy that we are celebrating Women's History Month yet again. People always ask, why do you still celebrate Black History Month? Why do you still celebrate Women's History Month? We still celebrate Women's History Month because it is so important to recognize that we wouldn't be where we are as a country. We wouldn't be where we are. I wouldn't be where I am as a man had it not been for the support of strong women in our lives. When I was growing up, they always say that women are a child's first teacher. And I can tell you that my mom, who I love dearly, who's watching down from me from heaven, I wouldn't be where I was without her. The other thing I'll say before I take my seat is that although we've had so much progress in the area of women, we've had women world leaders, women presidents of countries, a woman was women secretary of states, women to lead Fortune 500 companies, Ursula Burns right here in Rochester, right, the leader of Xerox. We still have a long way to go to make sure that women get their due as it relates to equal pay and as it relates to many other issues where women are still often left out of the conversation. So that work continues. But tonight is about celebrating the success of the women, young women in the Rochester City School District. So on behalf of the board, I want to congratulate you all on your great accomplishments, and I look forward to celebrating you all this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, President Evans. I also would like to recognize a couple of colleagues of mine. Commissioner Willa Powell is here. Would you stand, please? And Student Representative Sophie Galvin is here. Would you stand, please? So before we get started, I'd just like to, we're started, but let me just say there, just to honor some of the great women locally in this community who have really had an impact in my life. And let me just first of all start off on a national level with First Lady Michelle Obama, one of the greatest women that we've seen, bar none. Also, I'd like to acknowledge who's another great woman and someone, when I grew up, I'd like to be like, is Councilwoman President Lovely Warren, Loretta Scott, Constance Mitchell, Mildred Johnson, my First Lady at New Life Fellowship, Cynthia McGill, Dolores Walker, who was a great fighter in this community on behalf of welfare rights for women, and the late, great Lena Gant, who is the mother of my mentor, the great David Gant. Rochester is also home to another great leader, one of the great leaders of the women's suffrage movement back in the 19th century, and that is Susan B. Anthony, who lived right here in Rochester. And what I'd like to have done is we have Deborah Hughes, who's the executive director of the Susan B. Anthony House, to come and share some words around Susan B. Anthony. I know you do this probably every year, but we need to know the history that we have right here in Rochester. We have Susan B. Anthony, we have Frederick Douglass, we have great people throughout the founding of this community. You know, a lot of the issues, if you will, the isms started right here around abolitionism and equality for women. And so, Ms. Hughes, why don't you come and share with us about Susan B. Anthony?
Thank you, Commissioner Elliott, board members, and wonderful award recipients and the people who are here to support you. One of my favorite aspects of my job is having the opportunity to come here every year to celebrate with you and to talk a little bit about Susan B. Anthony and her historical context. Probably everyone in the room knows Susan B. Anthony lived in Rochester. And most of you know that Susan B. Anthony was important to passing the 19th Amendment that granted women the right to vote. She granted suffrage for women. Not everyone always knows what suffrage means. There's a video on YouTube where a young gentleman goes around and asks everyone if they are appalled by woman suffrage. And people say, yes, yes, I want to end woman suffrage. Women shouldn't be in suffrage. I hope everyone in Rochester knows what it's about. I want to tell you a couple more stories about Susan B. Anthony, because often we think of the icon that's on the coin, and we don't think of the personal woman who really was an amazing leader and hero. The world into which Susan B. Anthony was born in 1820, 193 years ago, was a very different world. Thank goodness we've come a long way. When she was born into the world, not every child could get an education. In fact, most children could not get an education and would not have an opportunity to go to school, because we didn't have a public education system and it wasn't considered a right. You could be denied the ability to go to school based on your race, based on your foreign language, based on whether or not you owned property, and based on your gender. When Susan B. Anthony was in second grade, she was ready to learn long division. And her teacher said no. He would not teach a girl long division. What on earth would she ever do having learned math in her future? When she was 12 years old, her parents owned a mill, and the workers for the mill would get fed by her mother. So she and her sisters would get up in the morning, and they'd make lunch for the 12 men who worked in the mill. She was just a 12-year-old girl. One day, when one of the people was sick, she said, "Daddy, I want to do the work." He said, "I can't let my girls work at the mill." She said, "I want to do the job." So he let her do it. It's amazing how when you have someone supportive in your family, you can go so much farther. At 12 years old, she worked for 2 solid weeks on 10 and 12-hour days, and at the end of 2 weeks, she earned her wage, $3. Not $3 an hour, not $3 a day, $3 for 2 weeks of 6 days a week work. That's the world Susan B. Anthony lived in. She wanted everyone to have an education, so she became a school teacher. But school teachers in her day and age were single women. A married woman couldn't be employed. You weren't allowed to have a job if you were married. You were supposed to stay home. And if you were a single woman in a lot of towns, you couldn't rent an apartment. That was scandalous, that a woman might live alone. So if you accepted a school teacher job, you would have to live with somebody from that community. And after school, after you took care of your classroom full of kids all day long, you would go home and expect to be the babysitter, and the housekeeper, and the cook in thanksgiving for the opportunity to have a roof over your head while you were performing your school teaching job. Susan B. Anthony did that for a lot of years, but she decided that that wasn't what she wanted to spend her whole lifetime about. She wrote a letter to her cousin. She said, what should Susan B. Anthony do with her life? And the next thing that she got very involved in was ending slavery, because there was still slavery in this country when Susan B. Anthony was 30 years old. So she went out and spoke in every single county in New York State, because it was a revolution that was a nonviolent revolution. It was a revolution about changing people's minds, about building an attitude that every single human being was placed here by their Creator and was equal in the sight of God and needed to be equal in the sight of all beings as well. And Susan B. Anthony went to every county in New York State to speak about that. Now, she would buy a ticket, go to town, rent a hall, sell handbills, people would come and listen to her speak, and then she would take an offering, and hopefully she'd make enough money to buy a ticket to go to the next town. Sometimes she went by stagecoach. Sometimes she went by wagon. Sometimes, because, it was New York State and it was winter, she went on a horse-drawn sleigh from one town to another. Then, as the railroads came, she got to go by railroad track from more places. But she went to every single county in New York State, and then she began also speaking around the country because she was a key leader in the New York State abolition movement. Then she got interested in women's rights because she believed that we had an inequality in our country and that if a woman didn't have an opportunity to participate as a voter in our democracy, this country wasn't really a democracy at all. It was 72 years from the time they had the convention in Seneca Falls to the time that we finally passed the 19th Amendment. Susan B. Anthony worked for women's suffrage for 54 of those years. She was 86 years old when she died, and her last speech that she made about 3 weeks before her death. She took the train down to Baltimore. They had a big party for her 86th birthday, and it was at that time she had pneumonia. And there were no antibiotics yet. So pneumonia pretty much meant you would die. You wouldn't recover, especially if you were that old, which she was. And they gave her a standing ovation for 10 minutes. They applauded for her because of all the work she'd done for human rights and for equality in her lifetime. And she got up and gave her speech, and that was the speech where she looked out at all the people who were in the room. And she said that she thanked them for the ovation they'd given her, and she said that she wished she could name all the other women who'd also worked for the cause and men as well. And that's when she said, but with the cause in the hands of those such as these, meaning the next generation of people she was passing it on to. That's what she said, her most famous phrase, and I bet some of you know it. Do you know what she said? Failure is impossible. She worked her whole life and didn't see women get the right to vote. But she died believing that because there was a whole new generation of people, it would happen and the world would be a better place. One woman from Michigan once wrote to her and said, what I can do doesn't matter. It's insignificant, it's not important. And she wrote back and she said, no, if every person would do the one thing that they have the time or the energy to do, no matter how unimportant or insignificant they think it might be, it would make all the difference in the world. So Susan B. Anthony today, I think, is in the room challenging all of us to continue in her name, to do the one thing, no matter whether we think it's important or not, because it's critical to human dignity and human rights and to success. And I'm so glad to be here on behalf of the Susan B. Anthony Museum and House to recognize the winners of the Susan B. Anthony Award and to say you've already done many more than one thing to get to where you are today, and that's being recognized. Thank you so much for being leaders, for being role models, for being people that we can believe in. You're the kind of people that Susan B. Anthony knew if we entrusted the world to you, failure's impossible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. I just want to, back during that time with Susan B. Anthony, there were other women, women of color who also participated in this great fight. Harriet Tubman, for example, and Sojourner Truth, for example, that also fought very hard on behalf of slavery and also on behalf of women's rights. So now we're going to get into the gist of the reason that we're here, is to award our young women for various leadership opportunities that they were involved in. And the way in which we're going to do this, I'm going to call up the staff person, and then the staff person will call up the student so that we can recognize her. So the first person who I'm calling up is Kathy, and I'm going to mess this name up, Christich. Did I get it? Yep, media arts, media communications teacher from Franklin School and Global Media Arts. Would you come, please? You're welcome.
Thank you.
We also have the principal with us, Carol Jones from Franklin.
I'm proud to introduce Dolores Breedlove, a senior from Global Media Arts High School, now attending Vanguard Collegiate High School. I can confidently say that Dolores is deserving of the Susan B. Anthony Leadership Award and demonstrates the quality of a true leader. Dolores has been on the honor roll since 8th grade and will graduate a member of the Honor Society. She's a multi-sport athlete where she has proven herself a team player through her positive attitude, determination, sportsmanship, and leadership. Dolores has been an active class and student council officer. It would be enough to know Dolores' successes, but she has accomplished all of this facing some difficult life experiences by making choices to work hard and succeed in the face of that. She has been a mentor to underclassmen and an inspiration to all who know her. She'll be attending Niagara Community College in the fall. Ms. Jones.
I would also like to say a few words about Dolores. When we talked about the characteristics of Susan B. Anthony, the one thing that stood out to me was failure is impossible. And getting to know this young lady, she's gone through quite a bit recently. But I'm fearful for the world when she comes at you because she's a very strong-minded and determined young lady. This is someone that I know that if she does decide to come back to our community, she will be someone who will humble the people around her, as well as she'll be a driving force for what can make our community much better. So without any hesitation, here is Dolores Breedlove.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, you do? Okay. Before we go on, I just want to recognize Superintendent Vargas, who came in the door, and that's not what I meant. Commissioner Melissa Campos, who also just came in the room. The next staff person we'll introduce is Melissa Carnavale, school librarian for Franklin School of Bioscience and Health Careers.
It is with great confidence and pride that I am able to introduce Miss Nijay Brown. Nijay has demonstrated her strong leadership abilities this year as captain of the volleyball team, captain of the basketball team. She is also running track this year. She is a leader on the court as well as off. She has maintained a solid GPA and is graduating on time this June. Yay! She is part of a group of 30 seniors that are remaining old Franklin kids that have been incorporated into Vanguard Collegiate High School. It has not been easy to watch her school disappear, but she demonstrates daily a positive attitude, a strong work ethic, and leads by example. Outside of school, she does fabulous hair, volunteers at the rec center, and is attending either N-Trip or Oswego. And she's thinking about a career dealing with medicine. I am proud of her. I am excited for her. And no doubt her life is going to be incredibly fabulous. And I can't wait to see what happens. Najee, come on up. Come on.
While Najee is on her way up, I think it's very interesting that 3 young ladies that will be honored tonight, each of them are coming from each of the schools that existed at Franklin. And knowing that Najee is interested in getting into medicine, she's coming from science, and Dolores was coming from global media. So the 3 young ladies that are coming before you today are from the existing Franklin schools, and like they have told you, they are now part of our Franklin family and under the umbrella of Vanguard. And these are 3 great role models that I wish were coming to me as 9th graders, and I'd have them for another 3 more years because they are really, really great role models. And knowing that she's an athlete and on a team, she really, really works hard to make sure that she supports those people around her. But it definitely is firm in what she wants to do when it comes to being an athlete and winning.
Thank you for you know. Congratulations. The next staff person to introduce the student is Brandy Fletcher, Assistant Principal, Edison School of Applied Technology.
Good evening. Tanisha Charles is a firecracker. She is full of wit and humor. Her unique style and charisma have won her a place in the heart of many students and staff. Tanisha is really working on enhancing her leadership and diplomacy skills. She is a positive role model and works hard to enhance school spirit and increase students' pride in their school. In addition, she's a member of the University of Rochester Upward Bound program. Tanisha has proven to be an enthusiastic learner with a lot of self-motivation and drive. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Tanisha Charles.
About 5 seconds.
Thanks.
The next staff person, Barbara Neary Habsa, School Counselor, Charlotte High School. We'll introduce the next student to receive the Susan B. Anthony Leadership Award.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me? Jesselyn Siobhan Cooks was born in Enterprise, Alabama, and completed kindergarten through 9th grade in her home state before entering Charlotte in the middle of her 10th grade year. A most welcome addition to the Charlotte family, Jesselyn ranks in the top 5% of her graduating class and will graduate on time this year with a Regents diploma. Her solid academic performance and desire to pursue a career in nursing led to her enrollment in the Youth Apprenticeship Program at Rochester General Hospital, where her favorite rotations during her 2 years of involvement have been operating room and pathology. Jesselyn has applied to several four-year colleges outside of New York and is currently awaiting admissions decisions. Her work ethic and drive to succeed make Jesselyn a role model for her fellow students. Her friendly, outgoing nature, sense of humor, and Southern accent make her a joy to be around at school and in the workplace. Jesselyn thanks her aunt and uncle for their unwavering support during her high school career. The staff at Charlotte High School is grateful to have had the opportunity to work with Jesselyn, and we are very confident in her future. I'm happy to introduce Jesselyn Siobhan Cooks, so please join me in congratulating her.
Thank you, everybody.
Tammy McCullough, math coach, and James Caswell, social studies teacher from Wilson Commencement Academy, come forward, please, to introduce the next student.
Good evening. My name is Jim Caswell, and I'm a social studies teacher over at Wilson Magnet High School. This is my colleague, Tammy McCullough. Earlier this year, I was in Miss McCullough's room, and I saw Jahira Cruz working to complete an assignment. And I taught Jahira last year for U.S. history. And it was a flashbulb moment for me. I'll always remember that I just realized how dedicated she was to her own education. She is a dedicated young student. Reminded me of how much I really enjoyed working with her. Told me that she is a young woman who takes her education very serious. And it made me appreciate the fact that she's the type of student that gets it. She gets the game of school. Jahira, you are the ideal student. Your effort and your willingness to search for truth makes our job as educators so thrilling. Sometimes we forget to look at those little victories in the classroom that we have. We forget that it's about each and every student. And so I want to thank you for reminding me of why I got into education. In some ways, it's hard to see you leave. You're an unfinished product, and I can't wait to see in 5, 10 years down the road what it is that you're going to accomplish. I believe your failure is impossible. And if you were the stock market, I would invest all of my money in you.
Jahira Cruz.
Thank you.
We have a board meeting at 6:30, so I apologize if we can't allow the students to talk at any long length. The next staff person is Sherilyn Diodata, a school counselor, East High School.
Good evening. I am very pleased to present Emily Gibson, who I've been her school counselor since she was in 9th grade. She has exemplified Susan B. Anthony in her life journey. Emily is an optimistic, highly motivated, and hardworking young woman. I admire her maturity and her commitment to other individuals. As a student at East High School, Emily has made incredible contributions to our community. She is a leader among her peers and encourages and inspires other students to be successful in all that they do. As a student in the top 10% of our graduating class and a member of the National Honor Society, Emily has been a member of the Teaching and Learning Institute program, which has helped her to enhance her leadership skills. Emily has challenged herself academically by taking advanced placement in honors level classes. Emily has a stellar academic record, and she has been able to problem solve and make good decisions and use her resources to work through any challenges that she has encountered. Not only has Emily been very involved in her academic journey at East High School, she has been involved in her church community. She has participated as an usher at church and assists her mother as she teaches Sunday school. Emily has also participated in the Rochester community volunteer events by participating in clean sweeps. It is very apparent that Emily is aware of her needs to be successful in her future to help and encourage those in her community. Emily's sincerity, compassion, and dependability will be an asset to her future educational endeavors and goals of working in the medical field, either at University of Buffalo, Buff State, Canisius, or Brockport, which she has been accepted at all. Most of all, Emily's life has been impacted by the loss of her sister. However, she used the strength that she saw her sister have when battling her illness as a motivator for her successes. Emily states, "Cancer caused the death of my sister, but gave birth to my dreams. I want to use my life to help others in need. I want to be a light in people's lives the way my sister was a light in mine. At East High School, we know that Emily, like Susan B. Anthony, will continue to be the beacon of light for all those she encounters. Please congratulate Emily Gibson.
Thank you, guys.
Cheryl and, I just called Cheryl Ann, sorry about that. Brandy Fletcher, Assistant Principal, Edison School of Business, Finance, and Entrepreneurship.
Charlisa Goodlett. She's nominated for the award because she has flourished into a charismatic leader. As she has grown, so has her confidence and self-esteem. Charlisa's high level of maturity and self-direction far surpasses that of her peers. She excels academically, constantly challenging herself by taking advanced placement and honors courses whenever she's able. As a result of her diligence, she will be recognized by the Urban League of Rochester as a Black Scholar. Charlisa is involved in student government. She has been the Student Government Secretary for 2 consecutive years. Charlisa is a member of National Honor Society and has a co-op position with Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield. Charlisa has been a positive and uplifting scholar, and her presence will be missed as she embarks upon new challenges. She is strong-minded and driven. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Charlisa Goodlett.
Thank you.
The next staff person is Mary Arison, Principal, Northeast Preparatory High School.
Mr. Eric Leroy.
What school?
Northeast, yeah.
What position?
Teacher.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Eric Leroy. I'm a teacher at Northeast.
Tonight, I'd like to recognize Sabata Harley. Sabata, if you could please make your way up so that everyone can see who you are, because by the time I get done reading this, they're all going to want to take a good look at you. Sabata Harley is a model student at Northeast College Preparatory High School. She's currently carrying a 4.39 cumulative GPA and is the running as salutatorian for the class of 2013. Sabata is involved in many aspects of our school and the Rochester community. She's currently the president of the class of 2013, as well as the president of the National Honor Society. Sabata has been one of 2 student representatives on our school-based planning team for the past 2 years and a part of the Hillside Work Scholarship Program. At Northeast College Prep, Sabata is part of the news team and helps out by filming, editing, and producing the monthly newscast. She has also contributed her talents to a documentary which highlighted the Center for Youth for the NECP newscast. Sabata won the Martin Luther King Award and helped students as well as staff through all of our orientation process this summer.
It has been my privilege to be a teacher on Sabata's journey as she heads towards a wonderful future. Sabata has volunteered her time tutoring students as well as acting as a peer leader through Threshold and GLSEN of Rochester. She is currently working towards becoming certified as an educator for the LGBT community. She has also volunteered at the Center of Youth and Liberty Partnership Program, participating in group studies, helping out with events, and assembling care packages for our troops during the holidays. Sabata participated in the Rochester Teen Court, program as a juror in 2009 and was a part of the Day of Caring in 2010. While doing all of this, Sabata interned at Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield for a summer and currently works at Highland Hospital as a companion observer. Overall, Sabata is a very outgoing young woman with a promising future ahead of her. And it is my pleasure to be here today. Is being honored.
I just want to say thank you to everyone and my support team.
Brandon Fletcher, you may as well just stay up here. Assistant Principal, Edison School of Imaging and Information Technology.
Tori King. Tori King is an intelligent, determined, and independent young woman. She has consistently done well in her academics and has earned herself a spot in the top 10 of her class. She's an outspoken self-advocate. Tori is capable and dedicated student reflected in her excellent attendance. She has a stick-to-it approach when facing a challenge and resists the temptation to give up or give in. Tori is an Urban League Black Scholar and has been on the honor roll throughout her high school career. She has challenged herself by taking honors courses. As a result of Tori's academic diligence, she was in a position to graduate a year early. However, she decided to return to earn more credits and take time to fine-tune her study skills. In addition to her academics, Tori manages her time so that she is able to maintain her employment with Wegmans, as well as a co-op position at Rochester General Hospital. Time management is a persistent problem for many young people. However, Tori has seemed to struck a perfect balance between school and work. Please welcome Tori King.
Thank you, guys.
And you back up here again? Yeah, I'm just stand up to the side.
Let me, before I bring up the next staff person, acknowledge Commissioner Jose Cruz, who just came in the building. The next teacher is Armando, or principal, I should say, Armando Ramirez, principal, and Sarah Greco, school counselor, Monroe High School.
I'm also going to ask Shantiqua to come up while I read this. We have such limited time together left that I have her right by my side. Caring, bright, dedicated, resilient, a natural leader. These are just a few ways to describe this dynamic young woman. A committed student and remarkable individual, Shantiqua has met great success despite many potential barriers to doing so. Shantiqua very clearly demonstrates an appreciation for education, is motivated, goal-oriented, and a real self-starter. She will let nothing stand in the way of achieving her dreams, part of which will be realized as she graduates and enters college in the fall. Shantiqua is a true role model and inspiration for her peers in every way, in her actions, her decision-making, and the positive example that she sets. An experienced Monroe Peer Ambassador and Peers to Peace student leader, Shantiqua has easily been recognized for her natural leadership skills and has flourished in these respected leadership positions. Shantiqua has played an integral role in these initiatives and helped so many students grow, learn to be better citizens, and resolve conflict peacefully. The insight, maturity, and understanding that Shantiqua shares in these roles and as a member of the school community is remarkable, particularly for someone of her age. Shantiqua has even presented her knowledge and experience with restorative practices at a worldwide conference with a poise, confidence, and ease that many adults never achieve. Shantiqua is equally an asset on the athletic field and as an employee in an active, people-centered environment. Shantiqua impresses adults and peers alike in her actions every day. A truly wonderful young woman who has made an extensive, significant, and positive impact at Monroe throughout her high school career, Shantiqua has a very bright future ahead of her that will undoubtedly only continue to positively impact all those who are fortunate enough to meet her. It is with great pride and honor that I am here as Shantiqua Lewis is presented with this award.
I would just like to thank all the recipients of this award, just like me. I also like to thank all my supporters, and especially like to thank my mom, who always told me to strive for excellence. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Shaniqua. And again, we have Brandy Fletcher, Assistant Principal, Edison School of Engineering and Manufacturing. I mean, she seems to be a great role model to teach women leadership skills. She's been up here a number of times.
Lyric Mateo. She's a very high energy and positive individual. She has interests in the criminal justice and psychology and plans to pursue those interests further in college. She is extremely bright and challenges herself academically. She was currently taking AP English Literature, pre-calculus, and working hard to do well so that she is better prepared for college. She is in the top 5% of her class and is a National Honor Society member. Lyric's level of maturity and self-direction far surpasses that of many of her peers. In addition to her success academically, Lyric participates in extracurricular activities to provide her with the opportunities to interact socially, sharpen her leadership skills, and broaden her experiences. Lyric has proven to be an enthusiastic learner with a lot of self-motivation and drive. She excels in all her classes. She exhibits a positive attitude towards everything and everything she does. She is well respected and held in high regards by both peers and teachers. Please welcome Lyric Mateo.
It's such an amazing honor to receive this award, and I would like to thank everyone who supported me.
Next staff person is Lisa Kasdan, School Counselor, School of the Arts.
Hi. I brought Claudia up with me. I am very excited and honored to be introducing Claudia Mollering to you today, as I believe Claudia is most deserving of the Susan B. Anthony Leadership Award. Claudia has consistently challenged herself in school by enrolling in all Regents, honors, and advanced placement level courses. She is an extremely hardworking, motivated student who takes great pride in her work. Claudia has been listed on our high honor roll each semester, was named an AP Scholar, and is currently serving as Secretary of the School of the Arts chapter of National Honor Society. Claudia is a visual arts major at School of the Arts. She has excelled in this arena as well. Claudia's work was chosen as a backdrop for one of our Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra concerts. She was chosen to speak at the opening of our community's Art Walk project, along with our mayor and several other city leaders, and participated in our community's Mosaic Light Pole project, for which she, along with students from other schools, created designs that have been hung on light poles strategically placed around our city. Finally, Claudia has been a member of our media club since she started at School of the Arts in 7th grade. In addition to art, Claudia has played in our pit orchestra and is a member of our varsity swim team and math league. Outside of school, Claudia swims with the Rochester Swim Club, studies violin, and is a member of Venture Crew. Claudia is an active member of her church youth group, for which she recently took on a leadership role, which involves planning meetings and working with adult members of the church community to ensure that all aspects of the church are in order and running smoothly. Claudia is committed to serving our community. She has volunteered at an animal shelter, a local hospital, library, and food cupboard. Claudia's varied interests and wide array of activities make her a very well-rounded individual. Additionally, I have always found her to be a mature, kind, and sensitive young woman. Claudia works hard at everything she does and sets very lofty goals for herself. She is a good friend, always there for others in need of help or just a shoulder to lean on. I have the utmost respect for Claudia. Her drive, intelligence, and compassion for others are all qualities that will ultimately ensure her success in her chosen field of nursing. Claudia will be attending SUNY Brockport in the fall in their Bachelor of Nursing program. It is my pleasure now to introduce to you Claudia Mollering.
I just wanted to thank Ms. Kasdan and my parents for guiding me to be the woman that I am today. And I wanted to thank Susan B. Anthony for being the strong woman that she was and for paving the road for women today.
Windsor Wade. I can't pronounce that other name, Windsor. I'm just going to let go on that. Windsor is social studies teacher at School Without Walls at Commencement Academy. Asamoah Wade.
Good evening. Sue Ann is a diamond in the rough. As a student, her performance in class has indicated a high level of reasoning ability and aptitude for math and science. Not only does Sue Ann reflect a natural inquisitiveness, a spark of imagination, but she also motivates those working with her to explore unfounded territories. Sue Ann is a very non-unassuming individual who achieves at whatever task she chooses to attempt, and her reward is the task completed and the project moving forward. She takes little public credit. Sue Ann's abiding interest, however, is in the area of leadership. Although our school does not have student council, Sue Ann is serving informally as the president for her senior class and has organized a variety of activities for the senior class. Currently, she contributes to the School Without Walls community as a teacher's assistant, where she copies, organizes, and researches instructional resources for a teacher. Additionally, she serves as a tutor mentor for students who are struggling in school. I've never heard Sue Ann complain about her workload or refuse any assignment or task she's been given. It is not adequate to say that she accepts responsibility readily. She seeks responsibility. Sue Ann has a tremendous self-discipline as evidenced by her ability to fulfill the duties of the many activities in which she's involved while maintaining her excellent academic status. While her personal qualities are equally as impressive as her intellectual curiosities, her best attribute is strength of character, which Sue Ann exemplifies to the highest degree. Her honesty and integrity are unquestioned by faculty and peers. I've been a teacher at School Without Walls for 24 years, and she is truly a comet in the sky. In conclusion, Sue Ann has a personal quality, solid work ethic, and true flair for leading the way that embodies the spirit of Susan B. Anthony. I think of no other student who deserves this recognition more than Sue Ann Rodriguez.
I would like to say thank you to all you guys. My family couldn't make it, so it feels welcoming to hear all you guys clapping and supporting everybody here.
Carol Jones, principal, Franklin School of International Finance and Economics, will introduce the next winner of the Susan B. Anthony Leadership Award. Introduce yourself, because your name is different.
Good evening. My name is Walter Grabowski. I'm school counselor for the seniors from the Franklin program at Vanguard Collegiate High School. And I'm here to introduce Ashley Sepulveda. Ashley Sepulveda proudly ranks #1 in her graduating class in the International Finance Career High School at Franklin. It's common to find Ashley on the high honor roll. A tremendous work ethic underlies her success. Instructors for Ashley praise her for her good attitude, her motivation, and her productive use of time. Ashley has participated in a variety of activities outside of the classroom, including interscholastic sports, Upward Bound, the Future Business Leaders Experience at Rochester Institute of Technology, and Educational Talent Search. As a participant in Educational Talent Search, Ashley volunteered for the Save a Student project, which gathered food and personal items for needy students and their families in our school community. Ashley was a contestant in the Miss Puerto Rico of Rochester pageant as an 11th grader. As part of the pageant, she participated in a fundraiser for diabetes research. Ashley has been accepted for admission at Keuka College, Iona College, and Roberts Wesleyan College. She expects to attend one of those institutions where she intends to study business.
I would like to also say a few words about Ashley and all the young ladies that are here in front of us this evening. One of the things I can say about Ashley is I observe her in the math class today. I happened to go in and watch them as they're working on a task around how to look at green fuel cars and what they can do for us in the future. And they were applying some of the formulas of math and trying to figure out a task. And I watched how she worked with her peers in her group. And at no time did she ever, disregard what their opinions were, how they were trying to figure out the problem. Instead, she supported them and also tried to give her own feedback on what she thought was going to solve the problem. And I see her do that a lot every day at school. She's there all the time. She's committed to her work. She constantly wants to strive to do the best that she can, and she's always pushing the envelope to be one of those leaders that you'll find in the community that will take ownership to those things that she knows that can change what might exist to make better. I can see all the young ladies here tonight, like Ashley, in no disrespect to the males, wanting to be in that role of leadership and wanting to be in the forefront of saying, I want to be a CEO, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. And I definitely can see that in Ashley, and I know that her family's very proud of her, as well as all the other young ladies. And to the other young lady that just Sue In, who had just talked about finance and wanting to get into the idea of working with that. Ashley and her should probably give each other a call, maybe start a business. But I see so many of our young females here this evening, and the hard work that they have done, I hope that they know will continue to pay off because of the successes that they've had already. And so with that in mind, I cannot hesitate to say that we're very proud of Ashley, and she continues to strive to be the best that she can. Ashley.
I just want to say it's an honor to receive this award today and thank everyone who was involved in my success, and I promise to continue on. Thank you.
Wendy Nichols, school counselor, All City High School.
It is my privilege to introduce to you Tiana Stokes. She is an impressive young woman. Tiana Stokes, during her high school career, has been a wonderful role model for her fellow students. She is a well-rounded student, excelling in academics and student community affairs, and has an amazing personality. She is honest, outgoing, and a trustworthy young woman who is respected by both peers and teachers, and she has a very big heart. Another quality that's admirable is her drive to succeed. She's an honor roll student who always takes pride in performing well in the classroom. Math is her favorite subject, where she is currently taking AP Calculus with a solid B average. Tiana also spent time volunteering in our community. She was a volunteer for our blood drive at school, serves food through Cameron Community Ministry, helps out at Beth Christian Fellowship with church-related activities, and completed community service hours at Imaginetics Recycling, which is a non-for-profit electronics recycling site. She's full of enthusiasm toward pursuing a college education and has been accepted to Utica and Gannon University. Her goal is to major in pre-med. She is an exceptional student in person. These qualities make her an outstanding leader and role model, which is why she is very deserving of the Susan B. Anthony Award. Tiana Stokes.
Well, I would like to thank my family. I would like to thank teachers, my counselor, and I would like to thank everyone who's influenced me and everyone who's, been there to actually support me and to help me succeed. Thank you.
Dale Schambach, school counselor, and Nakia Burrows, school counselor, Northwest Preparatory High School.
It is with pleasure that I present this year's Susan B. Anthony Award to Daisha Taylor. As a staff at Northwest College Prep High School, we have seen Daisha's leadership qualities blossom as she has gotten older. She exemplifies what we as a staff strive to instill in all of our students, for them to become good citizens, future leaders, and meaningful contributors to society. Daisha's journey to where she's at today has not been easy. In junior high, she struggled to find her identity. She was easily distracted by peers who wanted to bring her down, and she began to doubt herself. However, this did not stop her from moving forward. By 9th grade, she was placed in inclusion classes and worked extremely hard to succeed. As the years passed, she learned to silence her critics by ignoring their harsh comments and remaining focused on academics. Her ability to handle criticism is unmatched. Today, Daisha knows exactly who she is and what she wants to accomplish in life. As a result of working part-time at Highland Hospital and her innate yearning to help others, she has decided to study nursing at Finger Lakes Community College. We are confident that Daisha will positively influence lives as a nurse. Daisha Taylor.
I want to say thank you to my counselors and my family. It's not the end. Thank you.
Before we end, what I wanted to have happen is the superintendent to say a couple of words, but he stepped out. Is he somewhere in there? But as he's coming up, can we have all the parents to stand? Because without you, they would not be here. And we congratulate you and we honor you for what you do. We know it's not easy at all. So thank you very much that you have them ready for school. Thank you. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you. To the families, to the teachers, and the parents that are here, I want to thank you, and also to the Susan B. Anthony House for encouraging our young women to follow the footsteps of many women in this community and also throughout this nation that they are following. So our future is secure with your leadership. And I just wanted to echo what has been said tonight. You have been recognized because of the wonderful, wonderful role model that you are. And I want to say for the adult, thank you to you, because behind any successful one of you, there's many successful adults pushing you. And I'm so pleased. And it's very, very encouraging to me to have a district that recognizes our wonderful talents among our young lady. I wish you the best, and thank you so much for being a role model. You are not just contributing to your own success, but also to the success of the entire Rochester City School District, students, population, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. And I would just like to close by saying to those honorees that we recognize tonight, you know, baseball has 9 innings, but you could take as many innings as you need Football has 4 quarters, but you can take as many quarters as you need. Don't allow anybody to limit you, not by the 4 quarters, not by the 9 innings. You take as many innings, you take as many quarters as you need to get where you are. Keep the fight, keep moving, keep persevering, and make sure you come back to Rochester. Usually when young people leave here, they don't come back. We want you back in Rochester. Thank you. God bless you. And good night.